Welcome to this explainer. Did you know the eye is the second most complex organ in your entire body, right after the brain? Pretty wild, right? Well, today we're diving straight into some absolutely crucial guidance from the American Academy of Ophthalmology and the National Eye Institute. We're going to map out a journey that goes from literal, drop everything medical emergencies, where every single second counts, all the way to those chronic, gradual changes we learn to adapt to over a lifetime. It's a high stakes, but ultimately super empowering topic. So let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. I want you to just imagine this scenario for a second. You're going about your normal day, maybe reading a book or out for a walk, when suddenly a literal shadow drops right across your field of vision. It's kind of like a heavy curtain falling over a theater stage right in the middle of a play. Now, you might be wondering, is that just eye fatigue from staring at a screen way too long? Or is that a blaring siren telling you something is going terribly wrong?
Well, it's the latter. What you're experiencing is known as the dark curtain. The American Academy of Ophthalmology explicitly describes this terrifying symptom as a literal shadow or curtain just falling across your line of sight. Basically, this happens when your retina physically pulls away from its underlying supportive tissue. And guys, make absolutely no mistake here. This isn't some minor inconvenience you can just sleep off. This is a critical, high-stakes medical warning sign straight from the official guidance. It's a red alert from your own body signaling a potentially catastrophic event, like a retinal detachment.
So, what do you do if you or a loved one ever experience this dark curtain effect? There is absolutely no time for hesitation. First, you have to recognize that shadow for the massive danger it actually is. And second, you seek urgent care immediately. I mean it, you cannot wait until Monday morning, and you definitely can't wait to see if it just kind of clears up on its own. Immediate emergency medical intervention is quite literally the only path forward to save your sight. In this specific scenario, time equals vision. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it perfectly highlights the two totally different halves of our eye health journey. We just talked about those fire alarm emergencies, right? The sudden dark curtain where you have to drop absolutely everything and rush to a doctor. But now we're going to pivot over to the other end of the spectrum, gradual changes. We're moving away from acute, terrifying emergencies and getting into the ongoing chronic management of conditions like low vision. It's a totally different landscape, and naturally, it requires a completely different approach. Let's just pause here for a second. When we talk about low vision, we're looking at a chronic issue. This isn't something that's going to be fixed overnight with an emergency surgery. It requires steady management, a lot of patience, and just everyday adaptation to a new normal. And look, losing some of your visual capability can feel incredibly overwhelming. It is completely natural to feel that way. But I really want to reassure you right now, an irreversible change in your vision does not mean your active life is over. No way. It just means we need to adapt how we navigate it. And that actually brings us to some incredibly hopeful information. When we look at the official guidance from the National Eye Institute regarding reading support and adaptation, the biggest takeaway is simple, but man, is it powerful. Experiencing low vision absolutely does not mean the end of enjoying your daily activities. Your favorite hobbies, your independence, that simple joy of getting lost in a really good book, those things aren't gone forever. We just need the right strategies to unlock them again. So how does that actually translate into practical, real-world solutions? Well, the source material outlines some really brilliant reading support aids. You can think of these tools as quite literally bringing the illumination back to your tasks. We've got magnifiers to physically blow up the text. We've got lighting changes, and honestly, it's wild how just tweaking the contrast or using a targeted task lamp can work absolute wonders. And finally, there are audio tools that can just read the text out loud for you, which gives your eyes a much-needed break. These are basically your new tools for independence. And this brilliantly illustrates one of the most empowering points of all. You really don't have to figure this whole thing out on your own. The American Academy of Ophthalmology details some absolutely fantastic low vision rehabilitation resources. Because let's be honest, just handing someone a magnifying glass isn't always going to cut it. There is an entire world of professional rehabilitation out there. We're talking about highly trained experts whose entire job is to teach you how to maximize the vision you do have, how to adapt your home environment so it's safe, and ultimately, how to regain your confidence. Okay, so how do we actually put this into practice? Adapting to low vision is a highly actionable step-by-step process. Step 1, you work with a professional to thoroughly assess your specific low vision needs. Because remember, everyone's vision loss is completely unique to them.
Step 2, you actively utilize those official AAO rehabilitation resources we were just talking about. By breaking the whole thing down into these very manageable steps, adapting to low vision stops feeling like this huge, intimidating mountain and becomes a clear, structured path with authoritative resources ready to back you up every single step of the way.
So, to wrap things up today, we've covered the absolute extremes of eye health. We went from that terrifying, drop everything emergency of a dark curtain falling over your sight, right through to the empowering, steady journey of low vision rehabilitation. We've looked at the data and we've walked through the official guidance. At the end of the day, your vision is so much more than just a biological sense. It's the fundamental lens through which you experience the entire world around you. So I want to leave you feeling totally empowered with this thought. Your vision shapes your world. What steps will you take today to protect your view of tomorrow? Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer. Stay proactive and keep focusing on your health.